now tuned in to the cold, hard truth. Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips@caymanmarlroad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Good morning, everyone. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of this screen, believe it or not. Let me see where it is. Okay, how do I remove it permanently? I I think that did it. Trying to get my Christmas background working so it's always there. And that just hasn't been working out. Good morning, Blake and Aaron. Buenos dias.
Good morning, CMR land.
How are you? Where were you?
How are you? Where were you?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Pretty
normal
late.
time.
It's pretty late.
Oh.
Well, normal time. I think.
Maybe I'm a little bit early this morning.
Yeah. Bright
Yeah.
and early on a Monday.
I
Early bird
know.
gets the worm.
It's
I
good.
was like, where's Blake and Aaron?
We're right here. We're playing Christmas music.
We're just,
Oh.
messing about.
How long do you guys play Christmas music for? Do you do an entire month?
All the way through New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of Christmas music.
That is. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you just got to settle in for a long winter's nap.
Yeah.
Anyway, how was the weekend?
It was good. I was on the Sister Islands doing a little bit of work.
I saw
Oh,
that
yeah.
I saw that you flew over there. That's cool.
You rolled up to some snack shack and nobody was there?
We're going to talk about that. Ooh,
What
them
happened?
Brackers all up in their feelings this morning, boy.
What happened?
I already see. I said the Brackers are in their feelings this morning.
Oh, yeah?
I already see them commenting.
I
how
see
we
something.
like
I'm
it.
not sure what it's about. We'll figure it out next.
Ooh, yeah.
All right. Sandy's got the tea.
Sandy has the Monday morning tea.
Ooh, and my
Yes.
coffee's very hot.
Mm.
Don't burn
Excellent.
yourself now.
Yeah.
You have nobody to sue here.
Who's left?
But myself.
I said she's got no one to sue here. This isn't Burger King.
No, it was McDonald's, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, and then now all the coffee cups have to say caution hot because a person spilled hot coffee on themselves and said, "Oh, I didn't realize it was gonna be hot."
You know what? There's so much more to that story, Aaron. I'm going to send you some information on it. You'd be surprised.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There was
Yeah,
a
because there
reason
has
why
to
she
be.
won that lawsuit.
Okay, there has to be more to that
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Is it because she responded right away?
No.
Half of the battle is just
Oh
showing
my
up to
God.
court.
Exactly.
You guys are so naughty. No. There's so much more to it than that. I gotta
All
say.
right. Well, you send that to me. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is why sometimes you got to know the inside track, right? Because it makes all the difference in how you think about something.
Hey, it's not in court. It's not whether you did it or not. It's what can be proven.
Yes.
Well, that's partly true for sure, especially in
Mhm.
criminal court.
Yeah.
But in this case, they had a lot of chances to fix it and they didn't. And that made a big difference in the eventual verdict.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I get it.
She wasn't the first.
She wasn't the first.
Nope.
A lot of people burnt themselves on hot coffee. I mean, there
Yeah.
are many special people in the world.
And it wasn't quite that straightforward either in terms of what happened. But you know what is so amazing is they had an opportunity to avoid litigation. She was just like, just pay for my medical bill. She was actually seriously scarred
Oh,
to the point where, yeah, I mean, it wasn't just, ooh, I just spilled hot coffee. It's like, so she was an elderly lady.
Bringing down the man. I like it.
She required a lot of
how much money did she win?
All right,
Like
stand
$1
by.
million?
Stand by. Here we go. It's 106.1 Kiss FM and Kissmas music there from Mariah Carey. Santa Claus is coming to town. It is Blake and Aaron, our show brought to you by Subway Eat Fresh. It is time now.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning, everyone.
How was your
Good
weekend?
morning.
It was wonderful. Thank you. How was yours?
Excellent. Excellent.
Nice.
You were off on the Sister Islands.
What are we
flying
doing over there?
around, Yeah.
I can't say too much about what I was doing.
It's
That,
permission.
it was a work project.
Okay.
And so, sometimes I can't say anything quite yet.
Yeah.
But in due time, I will tell you guys all about it. It was really, really educational and fun all at the same time.
Cool.
Worth the
So-
trip, you would say.
Yes.
Okay. And when shall we hear about this this big story you're working on?
Super secret operation.
Yeah.
Parts of it we can probably talk about maybe later in the week.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah,
look
I'll
forward
tell
to
you
that.
guys. I'll tell you guys more about it. But I'm super, super excited that I've had an opportunity to to get an inside view.
I thought it was cool that you gave a shout out to a couple of female pilots.
Oh my gosh!
Human
Yes,
Airways.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They, on all legs of my on 2 legs of the 3 legs, because I had to go Little Cayman and then Little Cayman to Cayman Brac and then back to the Brac. They were my pilots, so yeah,
awesome.
Very impressed. Smooth sailing, and I liked that they were representing.
Very cool.
So, yeah, they looked. They did a great job. Obviously, landed us safely, and it was relatively stress-free flight.
Be honest, though, it was a bumpy landing, right?
You know what? No, the taking off from Gran. I think
It was pretty chill here.
whatever. And there's only 2 of us in the plane, so I felt like maybe we didn't have enough weight almost.
No.
Nice,
But
relaxing.
yeah, the landing was fine. This was the little prop plane as well.
Yeah.
So
Which one honor?
yeah, that one's not my favorite one to be on in any event.
I like the Express. Pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool. Anyway, what are the headlines from over the weekend? Anything crazy we need to hear about?
Dr. Lee's leaving.
Well, we knew that,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, but this is it this week.
Oh, it's
this
this week.
week.
Okay, so this is his
So
last
I
week.
think he
Okay.
probably just has a little bit of like a crude vacation and whatever else. So that's going to happen this week. So over the weekend, he spent some time with the governor. Apparently the governor requested or asked what he wanted to do. And for him, fun was running a 5K around the golf course or something. So he did that with some of his colleagues. I'm sure they were like, oh, fun.
Wow.
But,
We have to go.
yeah,
run
so they
then.
did a 5K run around North Sound Golf Course, followed by a breakfast, bacon sandwich, and coffee at Government House.
Well, we've all gotten to know Dr. Lee.
Yes.
I've gotten to know him personally as well. Wish him. Is that a sneeze?
That was a sneeze.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
Wish him and his partner the best,
Yep.
and their doggy, of
I was
course.
gonna say, and their dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's certainly done a lot for the island, and we appreciate it.
And so who's
Best
gonna
of luck
be,
in your future endeavors.
not the future endeavors? No, the who's taking over now?
We don't know.
We
Do we?
have temporarily an infectious disease expert and communicable
Yeah.
disease control consultant. And her name is Dr. Atulia Newton. I hope I've
That's
gotten
awesome.
that first name right.
Okay.
So apparently she was with Public Health England, which is now she was part of their she oversaw the Overseas Territories program, which obviously included Cayman.
Okay.
And she was in Gibraltar most recently, sort of taking over acting for their equivalent of their CMO, who I think had left as well. So yeah, she seems to have a lot of relevant experience.
And when is she here now?
Yeah, she's already here,
Great. Let's
getting
give her a
acclimated
shout
to
out.
everything and on the ground.
Cool.
And yeah, so it's pretty exciting to.
No, there's not much going on now.
No, we'll have to give her our show if she has all the time.
That's true. Yeah.
Just kidding.
So
It is
in other news,
Comic-Con.
there are some changes to the vaccination and HSA COVID testing clinics.
Yes, there's that.
Yes,
And
I think
PCR testing has changed.
yes. So everyone will want to know this information for sure. So you can do walk-in clinics with no appointments, starting in there's certain times like 7:30 to 12, and then 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays, and then they've got some public holiday hours as well. But it is located at 131 McClendon Drive. So basically, this is behind Foster's Airport. You know that little road that kind of goes behind there. It's the old. Some of you guys might remember the old Woods Furniture building.
Okay, I know
think
what
it's
you're
called Woods
talking about.
Furniture, but yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're.
So,
Okay. Oh, I mean that's a pretty big building. There's parking.
yeah, they've got lots of space. I don't think they're the only thing in that building, but I think it was really about more space
Mhm.
for them as well.
So I think it's also important to note, this is kind of big news too, that passengers arriving to the Cayman Islands and persons traveling to the sister islands, they've changed the COVID-19 testing window
Right.
from 72 hours to
One
no
day.
earlier than the day before.
Yes. And that's in line with what I think the US and the UK have done.
And it doesn't have to be a PCR test. They've expanded the testing options to include certified rapid test. So it can be an LFT.
Exactly. Sorry.
All right. What's happening over there?
She needs water. Little
Get some water. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yes.
Coffee talk.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I need some Aaron's super hot coffee.
Yeah.
That
would help. I'm taking a drink just because I'm like feeling symptoms for you.
Well, it's great chatting with you, Sandy.
Well, here. Yeah, I just have a question. So my mom and Paul come in, or my mom and stepdad come in on Saturday. So they
did you say Paul?
Paul is
Paul.
Her,
oh, Paul. Okay.
Sorry. I don't know. Anyway. Oh yeah, stepdad. Anyway.
Mom and Paul.
Mom and Paul.
I know that was a very
Paul and Paula. Paul and Paula. There's a song that's called Paul and Paula too that they played at their wedding. Anyway, I digress. So they get here on Saturday. So that would apply to them, this 24-hour kind of testing thing, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, now I'm going to have them because before it was 72. So now they need to call and make sure that they can get that within that time. Okay, good to know.
Wow.
So yeah, for sure. This is good news in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But the certified rapid test sites are only in the Cayman Islands.
See, that's what I was wondering. They'll have to do a PCR, so they won't be.
They've got a list of them here, so I don't know that we've approved anybody else.
By the way, today is the 1-year anniversary of the vaccine coming out.
Is it?
Today.
Oh, is it today already? Nice.
Today. 1 year ago.
Beautiful.
The first doses of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine came out.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And look at where we're at. 3 shots later.
3 shots later. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Sandy, we'll let you get your voice back and kick off your show on Facebook and YouTube. And we will see you tomorrow.
You guys have a wonderful day.
You too as well.
Bye.
All right, folks. Got a little tickle in my throat. How was everybody? How was your weekend? Mine was good, and we're going to talk about it because I know y'all want to know. I'm looking for something really quickly, and then we can really get it kicked off. It is December the 13th. Good people, we are, days out. It's coming. The Christmas season is here. Without a doubt. It's going to be here before y'all know it. So, super excited. Anybody else excited about Christmas? I love me some Christmas. I absolutely love Christmas. Got a frog in my throat. I got some watermelon for breakfast this morning. Who's feeling watermelon? Okay, well, let's get it. I'm going to tell y'all something here in a second. I was thinking about doing Instagram this morning, but I can't be bothered. Instagram is so much trouble to try to live stream to. Let's do our morning greetings. Good morning, Princess Sapphire. She was the first one out this morning. Good morning, Leroy. I saw Leroy on, when was that? Friday that was Thursday at the job fair. Good job, Leroy. Miss Daisy, buenos dias, sunshine. How do you say sunshine in Spanish? I have to look that one up. Sun. What is sun again? I feel like I forget so many Spanish words. Sun is. I can't even think of what sun is. Sun. Y'all are gonna have to help me out with that one. But good morning, Daisy. Buenos dias, Miss Joy. Miss Gladys watching us from Nueva York. Lovely Bonnie from East End. And look, Dan, defending Cayman Brackers, he said, leave us alone. We're in no freaking hurry. If you lack patience, kindness, stay where you are. Dan, I'm turning on the camera so you can see my duck lips going, No, Dan. No. Good morning, Marshall. Leroy says, bye-bye, Dr. Lee. Oh, you guys used to be in love with Dr. Lee, and the love has kind of subsided. But y'all will be all right. Y'all will be just fine and dandy. Yep. Dr. Lee is on to his business. Good morning, Virtuous Genevieve. Is that right? Genevieve, yes. I think that's how you pronounce it. Good morning. Virtuous is here. Larry, Habib, buenos dias. Good morning. Larry says good morning to Blake and Aaron. Bruce, Santa Claus is coming to town. Well, not too far off. Good morning, Miss Darlene. She's back in Cayman visiting friends and family. Magdalene says, can you get the interpretation of that new regulations? I'm not interpreting it that way. That is 24 hours for all incoming. I'm interpreting it for the Cayman. I'm interpreting it as for Cayman arrivals. I'm not sure I understand that question. Do you mean like within the Cayman Islands from one, like if I was going to the Brac and I was unvaccinated, because that's the only time we'd have to produce a test anyway. You don't think that that's 24 hours? Just clarify that for me, Magdalene, because I'm not sure. Luisa, Perla, Miss Emma. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ooh, she's going to have to change that for sure. So yes, I'm pretty sure she's going to have to change that. Corrine, good morning. When is she coming, by the way, Magdalene? Damien, Soul. Oh, Soul is sun. Yes. So like buenos dias. Sunshine would be Sol Radiante. That sounds good to me. Wee Cecile says sun is soul, shine. We can say brillante. So sol brillante. Brillante. Cold morning in New York in the 20s. Oh, North Carolina. Wow. What's it like in New York, Larry? That's pretty cool. Refers to Kim and Brac arrivals. She arrives on Saturday. No, child. She's going to have to change that. She's going to have to change it. We can go over the regulations in a little bit. But guess what? You know what time it is. What time is it? What time is it? It is Monday Rewind time.
Time for Monday Rewind. The Cold Hard Truth's Monday Rewind show recaps the weekend's news and events so you don't miss a beat.
Don't miss out.
All the weekend's source, news, gossip, and well, it wouldn't be a weekend recap show without traffic accidents too. Cayman Marl Road is Cayman's #1 news source and has the island's hottest morning talk show.
It's the hottest.
Make sure you don't miss a beat with Monday Rewind.
Rewind.
Tune in every Monday from 7:30 a.m. on both YouTube and Facebook.
All right, folks. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I don't know who's calling me, but it's somebody who does not know that we got a show to do. I thought everybody knew that we got a show in the mornings. And they keep calling. Who's this person? We shall send them a message saying if it's urgent, we can't help you right now. Because we are on air for Monday Rewind. And there they go calling again. My gosh, it must be super urgent. Sorry, cannot help you. Buenos dias. Solecito. Little sunshine. Good morning, James. Joining us from Canada. Beverly is here from the Bronx, 39 degrees. Jared says, I can't see anything. Have you tried opening your eyes, Jared? Haha. All right, Jared. I don't know what you're looking to see, but let's get it. Good morning, everyone. So it's Monday Rewind time. So let's talk about everything that happened over the weekend. We got a whole lot of stuff, I feel like, to talk about. This was, somebody said we've got a blank screen. What comments? What? Let me have a look. Oh, I'm seeing stuff and y'all aren't seeing anything? Really? Oh my gosh. Hold on a second now. What's happening? Bizarre. Thank you, Jared. Jared is like, listen, I can't see. All right, let me refresh because I don't know why that would be. The camera is still on. I can see myself. So let me just do a quick little. Okay. Any better? Can you guys see me now? I feel like I'm in that commercial. Can you hear me now? Can you see me now? Miss Sue, Tracy, Adriana, everybody's like, it's just a blank screen. Brac high-tech attack. Yes. We're back just like that. Boom. Modern technology. Gotta love it. Let's talk about the Brac because I know y'all in your feelings all about Brac. And then we can talk about the situation with the baby. Somebody's sending me a thing of Tortuga rum with a voice note. That's who's been calling me. Are you missing some Tortuga rum? What's going on? All right, I'll listen to that during the commercial. Sounds like it's urgent. I need some rum right now. Okay, let's get it. Cayman Brac. So over the weekend, I was on the Sister Islands for work. And I can't tell you all about it yet, but I'm going to be excited to tell you all about it because, boy, I love learning. Y'all might have made this observation already, but I'm like an information sponge. Like, I just love learning. And I think there's so much information out there that I just don't know. So I'm always up for learning more. And, and the second you think you know something about something, along comes more information. So I love it. And this was definitely a learning experience for me. And I can't say much about it because it's, a client who has certain timelines in place of when I can talk about it. Yeah. So I actually had to sign an NDA. And you know what that means? So we'll tell you more about it as we can, but it was super exciting. And I'm really going to enjoy when I can talking about that adventure. So yeah, I went to Little Cayman for work. I just went out for the day. Went up that morning, got up, and my daughter's like, Mommy, don't go to work. And I was like, oh, honey child, imagine if I called CUC and said, well, I didn't work this month, so sorry, can't pay that bill. She doesn't always understand. She's just like, just hang out with me. It's a Saturday. And I'm like, guess what? You got daddy. He's got you. He's going to be doing all sorts of fun stuff. And one thing I must say about Marlon, he's actually a fun dad. Like, she has a lot of fun with him. In fact, they were all over the place with her Easter elf, which she is really into. So they went to the clothing store. They went to A.L. Thompson's. She loves A.L. Thompson's. That's like their Saturday thing to do. Like, I don't know what it is about them and A.L. Thompson's, but she just likes to get out and walk around and all that fun stuff. So, yes, she did that. And where else did they go? They must have had lunch. They were just all over the place, like, seriously. And so I know she had a fantastic time, despite the fact that I wasn't here. So I went for I think it's the midday flight. So literally it was just a couple hours. Do you know that I've never overnighted on Cayman Brac? So here's a little prop plane. Like I said, it's not my favorite plane to be on. I like honestly, if I could go to Little Cayman, the commercial, like the big jet, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's book that. You just feel so much more comfortable in the bigger jet. But obviously, because of limitations with the airport size and even the staffing that they have on the ground there, like fire services and stuff like that, the big jet is not, possible. And then they've got the other, what's the other plane called? Oh gosh, you guys know which one I'm talking about. The other plane. Yeah, so that one is what we came back from the Brac on. So Cayman Airways is back to being relatively busy. And quite frankly, that's a good thing, because we have been subsidizing the airline, especially during COVID. But man, Cayman Airways has been running a really necessary operation. We all get to appreciate, I think, our national airline during certain times of instability when not everyone else is necessarily going to be here for us because, they're running a straight business, and Cayman Airways is like, yes, we are here for the people. And here's the beautiful ladies, the beautiful female pilots. This was on the leg coming back. So this was a little bit later on in the day. And they took me to the Brac to Little Cayman, and then back from Little Cayman to Cayman Brac. So the young lady, closest to me is, she's the senior because she was explaining, somebody else got on the flight and said, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. But she was explaining that she's allowing some of the juniors to actually get in their flight hours. So, of course, as you guys will know, as a pilot, you got to do so many flight hours on different types of planes. And so, she's been allowing them to get in all their flight hours and all that fantastic stuff. So they were very professional and very gracious. And it really warmed my heart to see women behind the steering wheel. Now, as you guys might know, my sister, Vida Rocket, was Cayman's first female pilot. And she did the big jet back in the day. I want to say that must have been the 90s. I mean, I wasn't here. I would have still been in the States. But I'm pretty sure that would have been the 90s when she flew. And I think she always had a passion, if you guys know Vida, for flying. And now she's in a legal profession. But I think back then, being a female pilot, the world just wasn't ready. I've heard conversations of what she had to endure as a female pilot, and some of the outright discrimination from the male pilots, the sexism, the sexual harassment. Like in this day and age, people would have gotten fired for the way in which they were treating her as a female pilot. Back then, it was par for the course. It was acceptable, unfortunately. And, she was trailblazing way ahead of her time. But apparently the male pilots were just not ready. So I sure hope that all of those things are changed. But listen, we as women still are very, very cognizant of the fact that it is still very much a woman's world, a man's world. And even last night when I was watching the Miss Universe pageant, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, it was pretty interesting to hear some of the questions. And one of them was about female empowerment, basically. And, what would you do to encourage young girls and women to really reach their top potential? So on the way there, it was only me and this young lady. I think she was at the Department of Environment. She looked tired. She was like, I'm going for work is what it looks like. So we were on the flight together. I sat on the other side. I figured that would balance off the plane a little bit in terms of weight. Do you ever think about things like that when you're on a small plane? I know Cayman Airways is very, very cautious about the weight load. So they weigh even your carry-on for the smaller planes. So here's little Gianna and her elf at A.L. Thompson's. This poor elf, right? So we bring him out as a fun thing to do. I'm pretty sure that I'm not following the correct elf on the shelf thing at all. Like, I think there's some rules to it. I don't really care about that. I just think he's funny looking. And she really just has a fantastic time with this elf. So we put him out. We hide him in a different location every day. And she'll go and find him. Like this morning, he was hanging from the curtains in her room. I think Daddy must have done that last night, child. And she just has a fantastic time with him. So there he is. Evidently, she took him everywhere on Saturday. So I got the memo that, oh, mommy, there's a dress that I'd like for Christmas dinner. And I think it's that little red dress there. It looks kind of similar to the one that she had last year, actually. But That's what she wants for Christmas, to wear on Christmas Day. So I'm hoping that they have her size. I don't know. I'll have to go by the store. I think this is Atlantic that they went to. So they were all over the place, window shopping and looking at stuff with the elf and having a jolly good time. So little Cayman was fantastic. Spent quite a few hours there. And then the leg over, we had to stop in Cayman Brac for, I don't know why I thought it was closer to an hour. I think on the agenda it might have said that, but you know, by the time you land and whatever, it's not quite that much time. So just enough time to walk out of the airport and back in again kind of thing. But child, why did I have the need for a burger? You see, I didn't need the burger to begin with, right? Y'all know I'm trying to lose 50 pounds now, 50 by 50. So I've got like a year and a bit to try to lose this 50 pounds. And so from when I was in Little Cayman, I was like, you know, my mouth started to water. And I thought to myself, I could really go for a nice Brac burger. And the closest place, and I don't have to try to get a ride or call somebody in the Brac, can you pick me up, was Brac Shack, I think is what it's called, right? So I said, all right, let me start calling. And honey child, I called and I called and I called and I called at least 10 times. Nobody answers the phone. I'm like, what the hell? I honestly thought about it. I said, well, maybe they're not open. And then I thought, right, they're not that far. So I'm going to just walk. That's a good little exercise. Walk off 2 calories out of the 500 that I'll consume with the burger. So I walked over there to see the young lady, one employee by herself. And, you know, I said, I was calling, but nobody was answering the phone. She says, oh, I'm too busy. I said, okay. I'd like to place an order. Like, how long do you think it's going to take? Because now, you know, I've just lost 10 minutes, like literally calling you when I could have placed the order and my burger at least be half done. So she says, oh, I'm busy. You know, I'm working on this other order. Da, 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 da. So she can only do one order at a time because it's only one person. And I'm not blaming her because this to me is a failing of management or ownership. So I thought, okay, well, I really want this burger. Can we go ahead and just put in the order? She's like, okay. 25 minutes later. I'm like, is the burger on the grill? I don't want any fries. I don't want anything else. I'm trying to make your life easy. Just the burger. She's like, well, you know, I'm working on these other orders. And I think, wow, this is so inefficient. And so then I started messaging some of my Brackers. I'm like, what is this? What's going on here? And they said, oh, child, this is the Brac. And some people just, you know, they have all sorts of businesses all over the place. They don't have to provide a certain level of customer service because they know people are going to be there no matter what. So there was the guy outside who was waiting for his 7 lunches. And I said to him, could I inconvenience you? And as soon as my burger's done, beg you for a ride back to the airport? Because that'll save me like 5 minutes. And he said, sure. So eventually the burger got done. And then when he was driving to the airport, he's like, girl, one little Jamaican fella, he's like, this is it all the time. He said, because she wasn't answering the phone, when I got here with my 7 orders, I've been waiting here like 45 minutes and my food still isn't ready. And I thought, wow. Huh. And he said, yeah, earlier in the day, he went to another place, another establishment, and it was the same thing. Like, you can't phone in an order. And I'm thinking, what? Okay. So y'all saw my post. And I know y'all got up in your feelings. So that's the only reason why I'm talking about it this morning. Because some people seem to think that I'm being overly critical of a Brac business. Ooh, have nothing to say about the Brac. Now y'all should know better than this. So this got me to thinking on a bigger scale, right? And, you know, this Cayman, I feel like Grand Cayman used to be like this. And in some respects, we are still like this, where we have a very different standard of operating. The irony of it is we want to be on the world scale with everything else. So, we want people to deliver certain things on the world scale. We want, well, my job must pay me a world scale salary, regardless of whether or not I actually want to perform. And then we've got this lackadaisical attitude, which we think is the Cayman style. The Brac style now is what we're going to call it. Oh, well, people on the Brac just like to be laid back. To me, this has nothing to do with being laid back. You can be laid back all you want. I'm not saying that the Brac has to be Grand Cayman Part 2. But I'm saying that if you are in business, and take it from me as someone who is a small business owner, you have got to be prepared to have certain standards. And in my mind, if you don't have those standards, I'm sitting here questioning, why are you even in business? The restaurant business, nobody could probably convince me to get into. It is one of the most difficult businesses to operate for a number of different reasons. It's the same reason why Welly's, bless their little heart, I don't go to Welly's no more. You know how many times I have called Welly's? Like 20 times, wanted some steamed fish and vegetables? And I'm just like, forget it. The frustration involved in placing the order in the end just isn't worth it. And you know what is so funny? Nothing has changed. I'll give you a perfect example. A couple of weeks ago, my friend Kevin, he loves their curry chicken. So do I, but I'm not taking on the stress anymore. And he called, and he was trying to call. Nobody was answering the phone. So I was making the food run. This was a Sunday, a couple weekends ago. And I'm going to Miss Elrita's. Now, Miss Elrita, bless her heart, she's running a little small operation out of her house, and they answer the friggin' phone. Y'all hear me? They actually answer the phone. She has a granddaughter answering the phone. I think it's her granddaughter, great-grand, or whatever. And she will place your order. I don't have half an hour of my day, if I'm not going to eat in at a restaurant, to sit there and wait and stare at you cooking the food. Why even have a phone if you're not going to answer it? To me, that's just stupid. And like I said, I'm not blaming the young lady. I'm saying the management is who put people in this position. So, all right. I say to Kevin, all right, TD, I am going to, oh God, Lisa is here. Lisa, girl, get off my friggin' platform this morning. Because you are the mother who left your child in that car and you have the audacity to come on here this morning. Don't worry, I'm coming for you next. Oh, you want to make this like you care about what's happening in the back? No, honey, you're here to hear the bullshit that you did on Saturday that we're going to have to talk about. Might I suggest you get off of this stream right now? Because you need professional help. And I'm not here to cuddle you and to make you feel any better in life. I'm going to tell you that on Saturday, you almost killed your child. But no, hold on. Let me finish what I'm talking about because I'm coming for you. Stay right there. You're going to want to hear this. Jackass of the entire century. Stay tuned for this. So I go into Welly's. What I had to do is I had to call Raquel because I have her mobile phone. Raquel, I'm trying to place an order for Kevin. Can you just put in the order for his curry chicken? No problem. So she has contacts, puts in the order. Hold on there, Lisa. So, I go and I'm standing in line and there are tons of people in there, traditional on a Sunday. And one guy starts cussing and going on, what the blood? I was like, what the hell is going on in here today? How long have I been waiting on my order? Cancel the order. I'm sick of it. I was like, Lord, nothing has changed. I haven't been there in months and months and months and months because like I said, I just don't order anymore. And he's like, nothing has changed. Oh my God. He was so pissed off. Like I actually thought somebody was going to get hurt. And again, I feel for the staff because the staff is being put under pressure and they are there. And, it's just not fair to them because this is very, very simple, folks. I have worked in retail. I have never worked in a restaurant. Like I said, it has to be one of the more difficult businesses to operate. And I I get that from a logistical perspective, even trying to figure out staffing. You know, on the other hand, if you had any standards, you would know that there is a peak time that you have orders in. And this is where running a business isn't for everybody. It really isn't for everyone. And so if you don't understand restaurant scheduling, last week, Thursday, we had this job fair, right? And a lot of people were there like, well, how hard can it be to be a server? And how hard can it be to run a business, run a restaurant? There might be certain jobs in a restaurant that it takes little to no skills and they can train you. But rest assured, what I tell you, that even understanding scheduling based on looking at your reports to see how well how busy you are during certain increments of time takes a little bit of experience and a little bit of common sense. For years, I've said this to the management at Wellers. You know how easy it would be to solve this problem? And with the available technology in this day and age, you could solve it like that. What do you think the peak hours are at Wellers? Probably from 11:30 until 2:30, 3 o'clock. If you had one person dedicated to simply answering the phones during that time, you know how more efficient that would be? But no, you see, this is where owners, supervisors, management, they don't have a clue. They're working staff to the brink. They want you to answer the phone, cook the food, just like in the Brac. So she's supposed to answer the phone, cook the food, prep the food, clean, do all this stuff by herself. How is that even possible? Right? Now, I haven't even got to the point where I'm thinking about the logistics of handling cash while you're doing food prep and all these other things. You need to have a chef, someone who's doing the cooking, separate from the frontline person who's answering the phone, taking orders, taking the money, and doing that whole front end part. And Jared says people don't understand data and how useful it is. Marshall says some people shouldn't be in the business of serving the wider public if they aren't efficient and deal with them at a proper time. Listen, this is very, very simple to me. Hire more staff. In fact, you don't even have to hire more staff. This is where a little bit of common sense and technology comes into the play. Yes, child. Somebody just sent me a message about Lisa saying how she's trying to defect. Don't worry. We soon address her. She won't have to deflect very much longer. In this day and age, folks, telephones are such a beautiful thing. And we all have phones that can be forwarded. Call forwarding. That's not an all new feature, not at all. So if I owned a restaurant and say I could only afford to hire the one person, which I said, logistically, I still have some concerns about that. But say that that's what it was, right? It's one of the reasons why my small business, Roki, I will only ever take on so many customers. Because I don't have the capacity to have 500 customers. Because I don't want to hire staff. Because I don't want a headache of having to deal with staff and manage staff and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, I've always said from day one, nope, this is just a little small business. I'll do it myself. And when it starts to get to the point where I can't handle it, then I stop taking on customers. Because I can say, oh no, we're kind of full. Membership only. But do you know that number, that 94813, whatever number, could easily be forwarded to the owner of the business, their children? Like I said, I don't know who owns the business, but there are so many different ways of managing this where you don't make your business look less than professional, less than decent with customer service. During the peak hours, after 5 or 6 rings, you could have that forwarded to your number. You take the order. But you see, it still becomes a little bit tricky because you're going to have to send her that order. What are you going to do? Send it in WhatsApp? She's going to have to stop and check her phone. I've said this years ago to Wellies. I said, you know what? Have somebody answer. You need to computerize a little bit. Have somebody answer the calls, right? They could sit anywhere in the world. You see, this is where Canadians going to lose jobs because y'all don't have a clue. Somebody could literally be sitting in China answering the phone. It doesn't matter. Good afternoon. Wellies, how may I take your order? 1 curry chicken, extra plantain, no problem. They just put it in the computer. You could create jobs here in Cayman, right? And other businesses could even provide this as a sub business. So you could have a call center where you go to the burger shack and said, oh, we realize you got a little problem. You can't answer your own phones. How about from the hours of 11:30 to 3 o'clock, well, is Burger Shack, whatever on the Brac, we actually answer your phones for you. We'll provide you that service. You pay X amount, and then everything is key logged. It's all computer driven. You can put in an order and it shows up in the back kitchen. Of course, you need to have corresponding software to make that work, right? It shows up in the back kitchen and boom. But you see, when you're so comfortable with what you, I guess, earn, because you don't really have to do all that particularly well, or you do well enough. I've always thought to myself, how much money do you think Wellies makes? Because they are busy. They're one of the busiest local restaurants, I would say, on island, right? They do catering. I use them for catering still. No issues with there. I send my order to Raquel. She sorts it out. But do you know how much more, if they're more efficient and they actually answered the phone, how much more they could do? Damien says mobile apps that help track inventory and allow automated orders are a great tool for your virtual kitchen. There's so many things that they could do. Moya says compassion for bad customer service. Go sit down. Child, listen. When I saw the comments, it is absolutely ridiculous. Lisa, please, I'm going to invite you to take several seats. Sure, Rainbow says, do that talk again. Listen to me. It's not rocket science. And when you get into business, it's not even about people teaching you. You should be willing to learn. What are you doing in business? If you're not willing to innovate and you're not willing to figure things out and learn for yourself, that's what part of being in business is all about. Listen to me. Every single day, I sit here on CMR and I think to myself, how can I do better? On Thursday, here's a perfect example. I did my morning interview and someone said to me, Sandy, we couldn't hear you very well when you were asking the questions of your guests at the, what's the event called? At the job fair. I said, really? I've always traditionally had the other thing where people could hear me, but they couldn't hear the people in front of the camera. And I was like, what? I have spent so much money on microphones and I've gone online. I've researched this, tried to figure it out, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, are you kidding me? You couldn't hear me? So big shout out to Nicholas DaCosta. Nick said, I got a mic. Try my mic since you said you're going back in the afternoon and see how it happens. So his mic was a lot better. And I thought, damn. Now, mind you, Nicholas can tell you, I said to him, Nick, I've been struggling with this issue, particular to live streaming, because what I have figured out is that Facebook actually compresses the video and audio in the live stream, and that creates issues with audio. So I could have been in that exact same environment, same microphone setup, everything. And if I was recording it, not live streaming it, the audio would have been perfect. But the act of going live does something totally different. Very, very frustrating. And I bought so many mics, like literally my husband has said, Stan, if you buy another mic, like seriously, this is ridiculous. So I said to Nick, Nick, I have another mic coming. Yes, another one. And I think it's finally going to solve the problem. I've seen it working, but it's like you see it working, you get it, you try to recreate. It's all about constantly learning, trying to innovate. Yes, sometimes I have to spend money on technology. How can I do it better? How can I elevate? This is what it's about. And there's certain reasons why local companies will never be on a higher standard because number one, we don't expect any better. I mean, I saw a lot of the comments and I said to someone, because they're like, oh, those Brackers, they don't want Dart coming and taking over. This ain't got nothing to do with Dart. But you know what? When Dart is there and he starts to provide a service that is better in terms of customer service, better built, better, all of a sudden y'all complain that he taking money out of your pockets. Right? And I thought, isn't that interesting? He can take money out of your pockets because the same high class tourism industry that we're going after, They have certain expectations. Y'all don't get it because we're not managing those expectations, none at all. So yes, they have an expectation that you're going to answer the phone if you're a restaurant with a phone number. Shocker. And all of the excuses in the world don't make one bit of sense. I'm not trying to take down a Brac business. I'm trying to help you to elevate to the next level. And if someone can't see the constructiveness in that post and even in these comments today and think about, well, Sandy has provided some possible solutions for me today. How do I go from here? Well, keep not answering the phone because you don't even know how much business you're losing. Because as I sat there in that 20 minutes waiting for my order, do you know how many other people were calling? Because I could hear the phone just ringing off. And the young lady wasn't rushed. I get it. She's probably thinking, yep, this is the Brac too. No one is going to be bothered. Nobody's going to care. And honestly, I was thinking, why should she stress herself out when the owner hasn't put the necessary employees and processes in place to make this possible? Jess says, thank you. I agree with you 100%. Oh, Lisa, you're going to get your shaming moment now. Are you ready for it? You ready, Lisa? This took me back decades with the local miserable. Then you see them foreigners come and take our business. Yep. Don't critique. Oh, Lisa, poor you. What environment have you lived in? Oh my God. Please address Lisa and erase her disgusting wicked gal. We coming, child. We coming. Yes, that's Lisa, Darlene. She's in here trying to deflect as though she's smart this morning. Lisa, let's take a little commercial break, honey child. Because not only do I have to clean my glasses to address you and your ridiculousness, because I don't want to mince my words when I talk to you this morning as a mother, as a Caymanian. And you on here pretending like you care anything about Brac restaurants or food. Right. Good morning, Miss Brenda. The service problem is all over the island, especially if you're trying to get it done by phone. Firstly, they employ people who don't even speak English. That's true. And then those people have never worked in the environments they're hired to work in, and Caymanians need to stop importing poverty. Well, you know what else? We need to stop importing poor customer service. That too. And to be quite frank, they're not the only business that has done it. And sometimes, here's a perfect example. Jared says she's trying to draw me out. Was she going to draw out something? She should be drawing out some charges from the police, but we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Years ago, Pico came on the, this is Pico, the little, is that considered Mexican? Tortillas and whatever. Pico tacos or whatever they're called, right? They came on the scene and they were doing the same thing. Oh, during lunch, we're too busy to answer the phone. I did a post about it. I'm like, who doesn't answer the phone in restaurant business? Like, I just don't understand it. Well, here's the difference. Instead of taking it personal, as some of y'all like to do, the owner actually told her staff to start answering the phone, start taking orders. Because once again, if you're not able to do that, that simply means that you have more business than you can handle. And that should be a good thing, but you're making your customers suffer for your own successes. And there will be some customers, such as myself, who will not be coming back to you if you can't. Listen, it's not the world's best burger, you know. I just really felt in that moment for a damn burger. Now, when you start to lose business and you're wondering why, I would like for some of you to consider the fact that you need to look at your various customer service elements as to why that is happening. Let's take a break and then address Lisa Donalds, who has decided to insert herself into this conversation. And I have no qualms about telling you all that she is the mother who decided to leave. How old is the baby, Lisa? Since you want to be on here, you want to join the conversation? You want to come on the show? Since you want to pretend like you're here to talk about anything else, you've never showed up on my show or in my comment section before. But since you want to be here this morning, let's get it on.
Have you been procrastinating on your Christmas shopping? You'll have until December 17th to get all of Santa's packages to the Aeropost offices in Miami. Aeropost professional and dedicated staff are working around the clock to ensure your goods are in Cayman and available for pickup at your offices. Don't forget our industry-leading shopping and delivery portal keeps you in the know about the status of your packages at any given time. Aeropost, Christmas shopping and deliveries made easy. It's the season for big deals at Small Deals Outlet. Visit us for the latest gadgets, small electronics, phone cases, cables, and so much more. Small Deals Outlet specializes in all 2021 trending stocking stuffers like portable Wi-Fi routers, office desks and chairs, straightening hairbrushes, earbuds, and charging cables. Visit us today in the Thompson building or conveniently order online at smalldealsoutlet.com and have it delivered to you. 'Tis the season for big deals at Small Deals Outlet. Call 746-7054 for more info.
Ho, ho, ho! I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Don't make it a blue Christmas by delaying on ordering your propane for that Cayman beef and turkey. Be like the 3 wise men who rode through the night and prepare for the 12 days of Christmas. Hark! Propane makes all the herald angels sing. Feliz Navidad! Contact Home Gas early for your Christmas propane order at 949-7474.
All right, folks. Lisa, come on the show. Anybody got Lisa's number? Send me her number. I'm happy to invite her on the program because inquiring minds want to know in the Cayman Islands why she left her child in a vehicle unattended on Saturday. Here's the backstory, honey child. We got a message on Saturday at some point that some slack mother, and that's exactly what I'm going to call you, Lisa, and you can take it any way you want. I don't really care this morning because there's certain things that I do not tolerate. And when it comes to dealing with children, y'all know already, I will slap you virtually, not physically, up and down the Mall Road streets so that you get the point that you cannot do certain things when it comes to your children. Neglecting your children and leaving a child unattended in a vehicle is one of the worst things that you can do. We've had children right here in the Cayman Islands who have died as a result of being left in a car. And I know parents always, I'm only going to be 5 minutes. Well, it doesn't take but 1 second for an unattended child to die. Lisa, you hear her talking about you care about burgers, honey child. Sarah Sue, good morning. Big shout out to Sarah Sue, by the way. She's one of those people. She lives on the Brac. She's moved back there. She says whenever someone complains about the Brac they are dragged, it's annoying. She was in Grand Cayman long enough to have raised her standards, honey child, as a Braca. And now she's back and she wants to open up her own business. But she's probably looking around at the other businesses who are there taking up space, rising the cost of rent and everything else, and still not delivering to their customers. She's raising an eyebrow going, how does this work exactly? All right, Lisa, you want us to teach and not critique. Well, I'm going to teach you something here today. It's called when you do certain foolishness, you're going to get a dose of the cold, hard truth. Lisa, why did you leave your child, in an unattended car, turned off on Saturday? You see, I know something not clicking right in your brain because that is the only way that this would make any sense. And if that's the case, you need to get professional help because that's not an excuse for putting the life of a child at risk. So I start to get these images. Let me show you now of this child, right? Because somebody's like, oh my God, somebody left a child, a baby, unattended in the car at Kirkholme Center. The police are there, fires on the scene, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, what? I said to them, hold on a second. Is the car on? Did they at least leave the AC on for the child? Nope. Wow. No AC on for the child? Lisa, there, I'm WhatsApping you. There's the link. Jump on the show and explain yourself, because none of us are impressed this morning with your behavior. So, am I a court of law? Girl, you need a court of public opinion to let you know that it doesn't take a court of law for you to do the right thing by your child. What is wrong with you? Lisa, get some professional help, girl. Because something not firing, something, the cylinder's not all, those pistons are off. So I say to the person who sent this to me, repeat yourself again, honey child. Someone left a baby. Let's look at the baby's picture while we're at it. Poor little thing. Unattended, in a vehicle, alone, no adult, and the car not even on? They said no. Wow. You know, I know y'all think that people don't want to steal babies yet in Cayman. I guess that's not a thing yet, right? But there's so many other concerns here. Children can choke. You see, he's sleeping. He could wake up and start choking. He could have a heat stroke. Someone could have stolen him if they wanted him. There's so many things that could have happened to this child. So there were a few good Samaritans that showed up on the scene. These are the women here who were like, who does this? They call the police. There's a baby in the car, unattended. All the way up against the back part. I mean, this is not even like right in front of the store. Wow. So then somebody says to me, well, the car is registered in the name of Magistrate Grace Donalds. And I said, what? Wow. Listen, I cannot imagine that a former magistrate of this country would have left a child in a vehicle by herself. So then the question becomes, well, whose child is this? That Grace Donalds would be allowing them to drive her vehicle and to leave their child in the car. So it didn't take tutus or very long. Poor Lisa. To then recognize that, well, she has one daughter who has a child about this age. How old is your son, Lisa? Is he even 8 months yet? 9 months? And you thought it was okay to go shopping in Kirkholme Center and leave your baby in the car. Girl, they need to throw you under the courthouse, if the truth be known. What is wrong with you? Oh, she apparently got plenty mouth. Oh, yes. This is when you have done wrong, but you're still living in a fantasy world of your own making. Somebody else want to know, why is the baby seat straight facing forward? That's another. We'll get there. There's so much wrong with this picture. Lisa, honestly, you need to check yourself into some kind of psychiatric evaluation and get some help. So when the authorities show up, eyewitnesses message me to say she tell the police there's nothing wrong with what she did. Really? You see, this now is where the police and the authorities need to send a very clear message. Imagine you could be charged for just leaving a car running with nobody in it. Do you know that that's an offense? You're not supposed to leave your car running. But someone who leaves a baby in a car, not running, no AC on, nothing, has the audacity to roll up on the police, but she has done nothing wrong. Wow, Lisa. You're a lawyer. You're someone with a law degree. You're supposed to know the law and you're supposed to have common sense. If this isn't a pure example of child endangerment, I honestly don't know what is. And you see, this is the kind of nonsense that we tolerate. in our community. Remember the other child that died, was it in Kirk's or Foster's supermarket? It wasn't that long ago. And then when that happens, we're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You can't believe that unattended child would die in a car by itself. Really? For a mother to even think that there's nothing wrong with that and to do it means she needs help. Lisa, I'm here to tell you today that you need help. I don't care how you want to justify it. She said, let DCFS and the police investigate. That's their job, not mine. Well, you know what? Our job here is to hold you accountable at a community level, right? Because despite what you have going on in your head, we want you to know, but we care what you do to that little child, because guess what? When you screw him up for life, or you, heaven forbid, kill him, well, I guess if you killed him, you wouldn't have that worry, but let's say you don't end up killing him. You screw him up for life. Who do you think is going to have the burden of dealing with that situation but the community in which you live? You see, this is how people in their minds live in isolation. Oh, it's my child. I can do whatever I want. Up to a point. But the rest of us have to pay for your negligence and your incompetence. So, yeah, what you do to that child impacts the child, first and foremost. And it impacts other people around you. Y'all can see that Lisa here trying to make a case for the fact that she must clearly be insane. Child, how are we going to lift you up when you're doing foolishness like this? How are we going to lift you up when you are jackass of the entire century? Seriously, you want to be lifted up? No, honey. You need a dose of the cold hard truth this morning. Everywhere you go today, people need to be looking at you sideways like, really, girl? Because clearly in your head, you're just not getting it. And maybe the only thing that will make a difference to you is a little bit of societal pressure where we go, all right, you might not be before your mommy in a court of law yet, but you should recognize that what you have done is completely wrong. And this is ridiculous behavior. And you should know better. And you're a person that we look at that has resources. Do you not have anybody in your life that you could have left that child with? Did you have to go into the store at that moment? Why couldn't you take the baby in the store? Do you, by the way, not have enough common sense to know the car seat is actually facing the wrong direction? Tell us how we're supposed to uplift you and support you, because I want to know. What do you need? By the way, somebody made the point of telling us how you were out on that same night, which would have been Friday night, at some soca fete or something or another. And Lisa was at the signature Saturday soca event last night. No care in the world. Wow. Girl, you're not ready for motherhood. I don't know what this is all about. But honestly, you just not ready. Oh, the baby's a little girl. Sorry, I thought it was a little boy. My apologies. My goodness. Now, I haven't had a whole lot of contact with Lisa. But, the last time Lisa decided to pick up the phone and call me was over some foolishness with her in a parade and getting in some altercation with a girl. And I didn't even take it on. But it did cross my mind that, girl, you're a mother. You have a young child. What is this all about? Get it together. There comes a time and place when it isn't about you, right? It isn't about you wanting to go to a soca fete. It isn't about you wanting to get half naked and jump in a parade, a carnival, Bada Banu, whatever event it is. When you decide to get pregnant, hopefully it was a choice, right? there's certain things that you need to focus on, like putting the child first. You know, it's a sacrifice. And it's not for everybody. You have an older child. Maybe you shouldn't have gone back for a second turn. Maybe you're like, you know what? I did that when I was young. You got pregnant when you were young. That took away the time in my 20s when I should have been partying and having a good time. And you should have just been a little bit more careful and not put yourself in this situation. How old are you, Lisa? 30s, 40s? Have you reached your 40s yet? You're in your 30s, whatever. You see, this is a level of like pre-planning. Don't operate on the Britney Spears attitude. Oops, I did it again. Think about what you want for your life. And we wouldn't even be having this conversation, would we? Your behavior is erratic, to say the least. And I would suggest you get it together. So while you were all up in your feelings, calling me on a Sunday morning, complaining about this parade a couple months ago, talking about Christina, the other lawyer. Christina ain't got no children. Christina can do whatever she wants. She can go out there and shake her booty till the next morning because she not got a chicken or child to go home to. That's her business. And I don't really care what Christina does. She's a consenting adult. But you see, the difference is she not got a child. You do. Right? Christina is not the one who's being discussed this morning for leaving her child in some car. Perla says she doesn't deserve that degree. It should be declined right away. Poor sufferer. Good morning, Miss Dorothy. Cece says this breaks my heart even hearing of this again. Like, yo. Lisa thinks that this platform only exists to tear people down. Nothing uplifting here. Well, if you'd ever listened to the program, you would know that that isn't true. But because you're under a little bit of fire this morning, you think that that rhetoric is going to hold true with the 320 people that are listening to the show right now. My dear Lisa, get your life together. Get it together. This is really something else. So Cece says, Lisa Donalds, so you seriously don't see nothing wrong with leaving an infant in a hot car and going shopping? Nope. Nope, nope, and nope. What is ASPD? Tell me, Damien. Anne says she forgot her responsibility. She's like she forgot her damn head. Woo! Carry me into court for what? Tell the truth? Was it not your child? Was it not your mama's car registered in her name? Did Good Samaritans not have to show up and call? She says, I didn't ask to be elevated. I didn't ask to be celebrated. Girl, what? What the hell are you talking about? Is this going to be a precursor to insanity plea? Because something not right. Marshall says she needs a common sense degree. Yes, Vanessa. She's Cece says a dumb one at that. Don't leave that part out. I know a sensible man with a diploma and a fool with lots of degrees. And your point. Wow. Irvin says Cayman laws don't protect children because she of all persons should be setting an example. Rosemarie is going to defend her, says, I think she understands. Does she really? Because she would be here having this conversation on the show this morning because you really think she understands? Wow. Cece said I'd be the first to uplift her to the mental health facility that they're building. Well, I'll give you a ride if you need one. Anne makes the point that Lisa being a lawyer does not release you from your careless parental responsibility. Well, I am curious to see what the authorities will do with this because it's times like this, right? That we now have to really understand how the system works. Cece makes the point of how she enjoys shopping with her kids. And let me be fair to Lisa. Okay? I myself have gone shopping when my child was older. And there are times when she's, oh, mommy, I'll just sit here and watch whatever she's watching on the phone or the iPad. And for a split second, you're like, oh, she's 5 years old. And then I'm like, what the hell am I thinking? No, even a 5-year-old. Yes, she's in a car seat and she's able to talk. I would totally leave the car running. But even a 5-year-old, all those things, something can go wrong. And I say to myself, oh no. When they're sleeping, if you take them out, you're going to wake them up. There have been times when I have been running an errand and the baby has fallen asleep and I pull in, I'm like, oh, damn, she just fell asleep. I'm going to just go home. I can't even be bothered. Because the second I take her out, she's going to wake up. She's going to be miserable. So as a mother, Lisa, I understand the plight of parental responsibility. And you don't have no support, I'm guessing. There's no baby daddy in the picture. So you're probably stressed out a little bit more than maybe some others. Because there are times when I could say to my husband, you stay home with Gigi, I'm going to make a grocery store run. Or I'm going to run a few errands so that I don't have to, on a Saturday, you make 5 stops. You have to take the baby out all 5 stops. Get some help. If it's help that you need, any grandparents, siblings, anybody that can help, friends that are responsible, that could help you with the baby? Or can you send a list of shopping stuff with them and you stay with the baby? I feel like there are alternatives here. This isn't trying to make you look bad, girl. This is just trying to understand. Tell us how we can help. If you say that you want us to uplift you, then let us know, what do you need in this moment? What are you struggling with? Right? So as a single mom, what do you need help with? Somebody said you're a family lawyer. Is that true? I didn't even think about what kind of law she did, to be honest. Somebody says, she's a family lawyer, but I look, she herself needs help. Oh, Lord. Oh, wow. So somebody says that this is a learned behavior, that maybe we need to look at where she learned this from. Maybe she was dropped off as a child at the HSA to hang out at the after school program. Well, no, it wasn't after school program, but just dropped off at the HSA every day after school so they could hang out there until a mother left work. Wow. This is a learned behavior. Somebody else says, yep, she needs to be uplifted. All right. One straight lick. One of her male viewers said, get updated, Sandra. This is her problem with her legal system. This is how the authorities shut their eyes on the doings of certain people. Our laws must be enforced for everyone. We need to get our islands back on an even keel. Wow. What a mess. Wow. Not commenting, but deflecting. She knew she was wrong. Instead of humbling herself and promising her child to do better, she tries to deflect. Somebody else says she should have been arrested. Oh, really? I don't think that's where she works, though. Is that where she works? Oh, okay. Apparently, family law. The irony of that. Okay. Well, there you have it. Oh, my God. Somebody says this should be a criminal offense. I'm pretty sure that it is. Now, whether the police decide to do anything about it or not is certainly going to be something that we will keep an eye on. And we have reached out to the RCIPS to say, by the way, what are y'all doing with this? Okay. Thanks for the confirmation on that. Wow. So Soka says, so now that it's a baby, what do the bunch of y'all have to say? Like they say when it's a dog about, I care more about dogs than human beings. Well, yeah, some of us are guilty of that. I care about animals and innocent children and good humans as a whole. You know, she's lucky that those women decided to call the police, because a lot of other people would have just busted that window open and taken that baby. And that baby should be, Lisa should be having a conversation this morning with DCFS to understand what's really going on with her. That's where this should be today. And, you know, remember last week on Friday, I was talking about the little young boy in the UK who ended up dying at the hands of his stepmother and his biological father. And the fact that their equivalent of DCFS had gone there months before his death, after his grandmother had reported some bruises on him, and they put him back in the home. It's like sometimes the people that we pay to protect children are the ones who are failing children. And this is really a sad indictment, I feel, on the entire community, right? Now, this has come to our attention. As a community, if we don't say anything about this, Lisa, try to follow the logic, right? We sit back and say nothing about this and make you think somehow, like you told officers on Saturday, that you've done nothing wrong. Then the next thing that you decide to do to this poor child that puts this little girl at risk and harm this poor baby. And we all sit back and go, oh, wow, gee, we should have spoken up. We should have said something. We should have done something. You know, the RCIPS has a slogan right now. It says, see something, say something. Well, we saw it. We had photos of it. And so now we are saying something. We are saying, Lisa, this is wrong on all levels. If you need help, DCFS can provide you some assistance. I don't know. Do they have some kind of babysitting service on a Saturday where you can get a couple hours by yourself? Like, I don't envy single moms, because I can imagine it is very, very difficult. Like I said, even on Saturday, you know, I had to go to work on the sister island. And if I didn't have my husband, what would I have done? I would have had to find somebody that I trust. And y'all know I don't really trust people with a 5-year-old. If you are struggling, reach out, let people know. And there will be people who will help you, because the alternative to this just isn't right. It just doesn't even make any sense. Oh my goodness. Miss Mitzi, good morning. Says if this was the USA, she'd be gone. Well, like I said, even in the USA and the UK, a lot of times they're getting it wrong. Emma thinks the police didn't do anything because of who she is. Marshall wants to know who she's representing. We know, Lisa, you don't have to do anything, apparently. She says, I don't have to have a conversation unless compelled to by law. We get it. You don't have to do anything, because this is all about the law to you, right? This isn't about trying to be a good mother. This isn't about doing the right thing by your child. You're going to try to toe a line that you think is black and white in relation to your daughter. What you might want to really consider is, if the police do their job and they actually decide to charge you, everything you're saying here today would probably be used against you in a court of law. So if I were your lawyer, I'd tell you to shut the hell up and probably come off of this live stream completely, because you're not doing yourself any favors. Darlene says she needs to be on the show apologizing for her stupidity. Well, she doesn't think she's done anything stupid or wrong. So Denise, I don't know how they extracted the baby from the car. I don't know what, you know, a lot of times they can actually pick a lock. So I don't know if that's what they ended up doing. Moya says she's making it seem like she was dragged up and not raised up by a well-grounded individual. I'm sure her mother never left her in a hot locked car. I would hope not. Ay, ay, ay. All right, folks. I don't even know what else to say about that. Miss Brenda, we're going to come to that question in a second. Blissful, good morning. Yes. I mean, I would have broke the glass too and taken the child out. Elaine, that question has been answered. Apparently, she practices family law. The irony of that is not lost on any of us. Wow. Marva says, I can't wait to see the outcome of this case. If it even becomes a case, what happens to the CIFS? Why didn't they bust the front window open the door and remove the child? In the US, they would remove the child from the car and from the home at the same time. Tracy, good morning. Tracy says, no excuses. Anything could go wrong, and it's sad that the authorities did nothing due to who someone is. This happens all too often. If you need some help, ask for it, and I'm sure someone would be there, and I agree with that. Cindy, your comment has been noted. She's wondering what's going on here. Marshall wondering the same thing. It's just unbelievable. Yes, Blissful, I agree. I do think the US would have taken a very different approach, and there'd be an inquiry into the safety of this child overall. But once again, we're talking about standards on the Brac, whether it's standards in a restaurant business, police investigations. Remember that poor guy on the Brac who all know they've not charged a single person for running him over? Y'all remember that case? My apologies, his name escapes me at the moment. Mitchie? Is it Mitchie? Mitchell? His family is still waiting years later for some justice. And they're like, what is going on with the police investigation? No clue. Jill says, I'd be quite discreet about being a lawyer. This is a damn disgrace to the profession. This is a disgrace to the profession of being a mother, because that's like your number one job, I feel like, right? Damien wants to know if it's a criminal offense to leave a dog in the car. Only God knows in Cayman, child, because if everyone has said here, our laws are lackadaisical at best a lot of times. So Darlene says there are options out there. Child endangerment is a crime, but all too often not enforced, no different than neglect and molestation. Parents need to be held accountable. I agree. So sad about little Arthur. So Richie says, please do a recap of the incident for those who missed it. Okay, so we're still 300 people strong. We've invited her on, but clearly she's not ready for the cold hard truth. Marshall says, can she not afford care? I mean, I don't know. Not every lawyer is rolling in dough, folks. I know that's somebody else said, oh, why would she be driving her mama's car? You'd be surprised. Just because you call yourself a lawyer, just because you are a lawyer does not mean, obviously she has a small practice. She's not reached that level. I don't know how many clients she has. I don't know her financial business. So maybe she can't afford any help, but surely there has to be somebody in your life who cares about that little baby who would be like, you know what, Lisa? You have my number. I don't have the most time on my hands, but if you really need a babysitter, call me. I'm not fond of going back to changing diapers because I felt like I've done that already. But you know what? I'm concerned about this child. You call me. Let me see how I can help you. You bring the child to me in a safe car seat, and I will take the baby for a couple hours to give you a break. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you have to know that there's help. You don't have to jeopardize the life of your child. Jill says, I'd rather she or mother being reprimanded and call a spade than have it gone the other way, where the headline is baby found dead in a car, mother and lawyer charged for murder. Morning, Tommy. So again, thank you to Richie for making the suggestion, because some of you might have tuned in and have no clue what we're talking about. You're like, why are there 300 people on here? What's the discussion? Well, folks, the discussion is that on Saturday, a baby was left unattended in a vehicle. These Good Samaritan, these women saw the baby, called the police. I'm sure they called 911. After being concerned about the safety of this child. And so the authorities showed up. When Lisa finally came out, I wonder how long she was inside shopping for. She said there was nothing wrong with what she did. There's a little pumpkin marked between and she's a baby girl. Oh my God, you know how many people would love to have that little baby? Can I tell you something? There is no shame in saying, I don't even want this child. I want to have this conversation. Caymanians, sometimes I feel like we put pressure on women to have a baby. Like if you don't have a baby, you're not a woman, you're not this, you're not that. Like, you know, this to me opens up a whole can of other worms about when you don't want children. And I'm not saying that this child isn't wanted, because I don't know that. But, you know, that is actually a very possible thing. And I think that maybe the next logical thing is to have that conversation. Are we forcing women in this community to have children when they don't want to have children? I'm beginning to wonder. Really, really wondering about this.
Ho, ho, ho! I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Don't make it a blue Christmas by delaying on ordering your propane for that Cayman beef and turkey. Be like the 3 wise men who rode through the night and prepare for the 12 days of Christmas. Hark! Propane makes all the herald angels sing. Feliz Navidad! Contact Home Gas early for your Christmas propane order at 949-7474.
Christmas time is about family, caroling, church services, and dirty dishes, cleaning floors, and power washing your house. Don't let the ghost of Christmas chores make you a Scrooge. Call Reliable Industries today for all of your house cleaning needs. Our professional services are perfect for Christmas time to let you forget the hassle of housework and focus on the important things, spending quality time with your family. Reliable Industries offers an array of gold standard residential home services, including professional house cleaning, window washing, pressure washing, HEPA filter cleaning, professional kitchen hood cleaning services, and more. A happy home is a healthy home, and there's no time like the holiday season to make your home the happiest. Don't forget that Reliable offers gift certificates and gift baskets for your loved ones. Call Reliable Industries today at 949-9303 to speak to a customer service rep to book your services. Reliable, serving the community for over 30 years, quality and pride.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Good night, Cayman, and good night, Georgetown Central. As you can tell, we're here enjoying the Christmas spirit with our seniors and our kids in the Central Shannon community. I just want to say a special Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody in the neighborhood. May God bless you and your families through this time of the year.
All right, folks, 'tis the season to be merry. Let me ask y'all a question on a more serious note. Are we putting undue pressure on women in our community to have children? Caribbean people have this idea in their head that you're not a woman if you don't want children, or if you don't have children, like one of the first things they ask you, even before you get married, it used to be when you got married, it's like, when are you gonna have, even before you get married, oh yeah, when are you gonna have children? You're running out of time, you're this, you're that. And it's like, who told you that that person wanted to have a child? Who told you they even want to get married? You know, and I feel like maybe, and like I said, I don't know if this is Lisa's situation. Maybe this was an unintended situation, and she doesn't really, you know, she wants to be out there free and living a life. Free in your 30s. Maybe she doesn't want the responsibility of this child. But of course, societal pressure, oh, well, you better keep the child no matter how bad of a parent you might end up being. I think that we need to support people who don't want to have children. That's your choice. And if you don't want to have children, there's nothing wrong with that. You take the necessary precautions to make sure that that happens. And if you happen to have a child that you don't want, there are loving environments. There are people who do want a child, who cannot have a child, that would be willing to take that baby. And maybe, you know, you shouldn't feel bad about it. Let us support you in saying this morning that if shopping is more important to you than taking care and minding that child, then we need to look at some options. Alice wants to know, where's the father? I don't know. He's not in the picture. And this is part of the problem too, right? Is as women, whatever the situation is, and like I said, I don't know Lisa's personal circumstances, but we end up putting ourselves as women in certain situations with these deadbeat men, and we make deadbeat men deadbeat fathers. I understand from sources that from when she's pregnant, there was no child, no father, sorry, in the picture. In fact, she entered a relationship with another man while she was pregnant. So obviously this man couldn't be bothered. He's not interested in a relationship with his child at this moment. I say at this moment because he might change his mind. But maybe she just wasn't ready for this situation. And I think if that is the case, right, we don't make women feel bad when they're not ready for a situation. Like I said, I've had friends who wanted to adopt children, came out. That's a crazy situation. And they'd be happy to take on the responsibility of a baby. They would never leave a baby in a car. They will do all the right things by that child. But you need to kind of let people know that that's the situation that you're in. Because then otherwise, you know, give up the child. I mean, there's nothing wrong. Like, I feel like, you know, in the US, they have this policy where for years they were encouraging young moms or moms of unwanted pregnancies or whatever. You could take a child and put it at the doorstep of like a church, a police station, like certain places where it's going to get help, like not out in the cold or on some stranger's door. Stranger turns out to be the child porn guy from last week or something, right? You know, that's why you don't leave it at strangers. But normally churches and the police and hospitals are a safe environment. And so they have like a amnesty program where if you leave a child at certain locations, a baby, then they will take that child and put it into foster care. Thank you. Someone just reminded me, it's called Safe Space. Yeah. And so they've created this environment where it is easier for someone to give up a child, but someone makes the point that the child can't be over 7 days old. No questions asked. But what happens if you got a 6-month-old and you're just now realizing that you actually didn't want to have any more children? Like, I don't know if there should be an age limit. I mean, I get it. In the first couple of days, I guess, sort of, if it was an unwanted pregnancy, you might know. Someone has shared a video here of a 2-year-old that was taken away. I'm going to put the link in here. Similar situation. A 2-year-old removed and the parents charged. This is a Daily Mail article. Baby left in a hot car at the liquor store. So this was a 24-year-old I feel like, is this in Canada? Owasso police noticed her infant son sitting alone in a vehicle in front of the Owasso wine and liquor store. The mother told police that she thought the air conditioning was on. She was charged with child endangerment. Here's another one from Inside Edition. Police officer comforting a baby whose mom had left him in the car. Here's one from 3 years ago where the child called 911. I wonder how old that child was after being locked in the car. My God. You know, we've heard of so many of these stories. Going horribly wrong. So someone says if the child is over 7 days old, they can still call the cops and will arrange for government help to start the process of legally giving up the child. This person says, when you become a parent, it's no longer about you. I remember having my boys small and the stress of shopping with them, but I could handle that. I would not bear something happening to them. I did what I had to do. If they were sleeping, I just waited until they were up and alert. Because, you know, like I said, there are times, and every child is different. Listen, my child didn't nap at home no matter what I did. But if I put her in a car and I had stuff to do, all of a sudden she was napping. So on the drive to and from daycare, you know, she was napping. And so a lot of times I stop after work, grab something for even dinner or whatever. And it wasn't always convenient. You know, I even made the sacrifice of like 3 months before I made the decision to put her in daycare to have a nanny. And I would take the nanny to the grocery store with me because I needed an extra pair of hands. There are ways to get the help. And I find, like, you know, a lot of times men don't always get it. They're like, well, just take the baby inside of it. Like, yeah, but sometimes you need an extra pair of hands. So at some level, I want to sympathize with her. What I don't sympathize with is her attitude that she's come with post the incident, both on Saturday and now today as well. Marshall wants to know, where's her mom? I don't know. She's driving the mother's car, I'm assuming with permission. Asking if the mom couldn't look after the baby. I don't know if she asked. I don't know if the mom is busy. I do not know what it is. Ms. Marva says, not with this generation. I don't think there's any societal pressure. What I think is there's poor decisions, practice safe sex. And had the situation gone wrong, I would have also hold the law enforcement officers. I would also hold the law enforcement officers or fire services, if they also attended the scene, as guilty as the mother. Anne is asking an interesting question. If she's charged, what happens to the mother? Well, I don't think, because this doesn't actually have anything to do with the vehicle itself, I don't think the mother, the grandmother, in other words, would have any responsibility, although the car is registered in her name, right? I mean, she obviously wasn't there. But I hope that, you know, I'm looking at this situation and I'm hoping that Lisa's family and friends really step up today and call her and ask her what she needs of them, what additional support she needs, because something's not right with this whole situation. Lisa says the only people questioning my gender identity were people who it shouldn't matter to. Why are you concerned about me being female? I'm not worried about whatever you happen to be. Thank you, Nicholas. Alice says, I'm sure Lisa has friends that can babysit. Plus, It's not that hard to take the kid with you in the shop. Well, you guys know I'm a little bit like, you know, don't leave the baby with any and everybody to babysit, even if they're your friend's child, because as you can see, Freddie was throwing his friends under the bus, talking about they're the ones coming to his house looking at child pornography. Imagine if she had Freddie as a friend. So you got to be careful what you do, especially with young children that can't vocalize to you what's happening to them. But I do feel like if she needs support, there has to be some support mechanisms in place, folks. And she probably just needs to reach out. Joshua says parents don't care. Some apparently don't. Leslie says it isn't easy. Nobody's saying that it's easy. But, you know, we all understand that sacrifices have to be made once you have children. Miss Darlene says, call me mean, but that was a great way to get rid of her precious little child. Oh, my God. Let's hope not. Yeah. All right, folks. You've been listening to Monday Rewind, so we are recapping everything that transpired over the weekend. This is one of the biggest stories, without a doubt. But we're not done with Monday Rewind, and we are running out of time, so let's move on to a few other things.
Time for Monday Rewind. The Cold Hard Truth's Monday Rewind show recaps the weekend's news and events so you don't miss a beat.
Don't miss out.
All the weekend's source, news, gossip, and well, it wouldn't be a weekend recap show without traffic accidents too. Cayman Marl Road is Cayman's #1 news source and has the island's hottest morning talk show.
It's the hottest.
Make sure you don't miss a beat with Monday Rewind.
Rewind.
Tune in every Monday from 7:30 a.m. on both YouTube and Facebook.
So as we mentioned earlier, folks, Dr. Lee is leaving this week. This is it for him. He's returning to the UK to spend some time with his elderly father. And this was him over the weekend celebrating his departure. Well, I don't know if celebrating, but spending some quality time in the final days before his departure with some of his colleagues. There's Miss Lizette right next to him. So the governor said, hey, what do you want to do? You want to come over for some tea and crumpets or whatever? And he said that he actually wanted to run a 5K around the golf course and then maybe have some sandwiches or something at the governor's with tea and coffee. So the governor must have been like, oh, another 5K. He just did one a couple days ago. No, he did Did he do the half marathon? He did something, big race the other day. But of course, we know Dr. Lee is very much into fitness. Good for him. I love it. And so, you know, the coworkers went and did the 5K with him and his little dog. So we wish Dr. Lee all the best. And his replacement is this lady here. Her name, let me just get your name, honey Jill, is Dr. Dun, 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 dun. I get her full name. Her name is Dr. Newton, Ottilia Newton. So she's going to be acting temporarily in the post of acting chief medical officer. The governor actually announced it during his throne speech back at I feel like the end of the month. And she's on the ground already. So she is here. And I'm supposing that she's been getting the lay of the land in terms of what Dr. Lee does. So she can fill in as the recruitment efforts continue. Now, I thought it was interesting. She filled in Gibraltar as well. So this seems to be a thing that she's been doing. She was set to retire from Public Health England at the end of September. And I feel like she did retire and she's just doing this other stuff. She has acted as a infectious disease consultant as well. Mm-hmm. And she was in the lead role as director of the UK's Public Health England's overseas program for the territories, which of course would include Cayman. So she was here in March of last year. No, March of last year or this year? I think March of this year. Assisting and so on. So she will be filling in Dr. Newton on a temporary basis until that position is filled. I think it's good that she has this experience with the other overseas territories, and that she's also an infectious disease expert, and she specializes in communicable disease control as a consultant. Because guess what, folks? That's exactly what we have going on here with COVID. Now, just received word from someone that the UK has just confirmed its first Omicron death. So we'll be putting that up very shortly on the website, but that's sad. Someone says, I hope she's Caymanian. I hope she's not on vacation. Well, she's definitely not Caymanian. And she's not on vacation. This is a paid job, folks. She's going to get paid to act in this position until they can find a permanent solution. And quite frankly, you know, I don't see anything wrong with this. I think she has the type of expertise that we want in the position of chief medical officer, especially at a time like this. It becomes very, very clear what you need during a pandemic. So, thank you, Louis. Leroy says the Grinch. So, you know, we're hopeful that this will work out for us. Time will tell. We gave her a chance. Good morning, Mr. Hero. Somebody says that DG needs to come on and tell us what happened to succession planning. Well, here's the thing, right? When it comes to this sort of thing, I don't know how much succession planning you can do, because it takes a minute to become an infectious disease expert and to have this level of experience. So I don't think that this position would be filled by anybody who's local. And I think anybody who's thinking that probably isn't thinking about this from a medical expertise position. And in fact, for all of his positive attributes, Dr. Lee was not an infectious disease expert. And there were people even in the profession who I know would be messaging me, and they were very critical of the fact that, you know, I guess we never thought that a chief medical officer in the Cayman Islands would be dealing with a pandemic just like the rest of the world. But perhaps this is one of the reasons why you should have certain criteria for that position. Now we see the importance of it. Whereas pre-COVID, we never really thought about it. So, yeah, I think on the list of whatever they're looking to hire, they need to look for someone who's had some level of experience dealing with this pandemic or some other pandemic. So, for example, this good doctor here has worked with an Ebola outbreak in Sierra Leone. And she also dealt with the devastating aftermaths of the 2004 tsunami in Indonesia. She's provided technical support to the Turks and Caicos in June of 2020. And so I'm not surprised that she was running the Public Health England, they've renamed it since then, operations. So she actually comes well equipped for the position. I don't know if she'll apply for the job long term, because like I said, she looks like she was kind of in retirement mode from the UK. But you know, we always get retirees in this jurisdiction anyway. They retire from prison services and they come here and run hours. I don't know if sometimes they're expecting it to be an easy job, but nothing in the Cayman Islands is as easy as you think. So Mosaic, I don't know what this is about, needs to get toxicology testing for all the worsen get roofied. Is that the mother? Are you talking about here? So Tracy says there's nobody here locally that would have the caliber or level of experience or expertise that's crucial. We have the right person qualified to protect the community and country. Yeah, I'm going to put my head on the chopping block for this, because I know this might not be a popular position to take in the local community. But I likewise will say that I see this position being hired as someone that probably is not a Cayman and has no connections to the Cayman Islands. And that is just the reality of what it is. You know, of course, we would love for a Caymanian to be an infectious disease expert, but they're just not there. It's kind of like, remember when we had Dr. Leon, not Dr. Lee, Dr. Oh, what's his name? Dr. T. And Kevin Watler was interviewing him. And, you know, I was thinking to myself, he has certain positions that, you know, I may not necessarily agree with, but at the end of the day, it was interesting because he doesn't have any experience with any infectious diseases, not just COVID, because no one can say before COVID they obviously had experience with COVID, but even having Ebola, other infectious diseases, he had none of that. So whilst there are people who are like, oh, we love Dr. T, he's great, whatever, he's also a general surgeon that doesn't have a specialty when it comes to anything even remotely close to infectious diseases. So I feel like his ability to speak on COVID is no more, you know, yeah, he's a doctor, but he's not an infectious disease expert. And he's not dealt with that. So, is he going to be an expert on COVID-19? No. No one was an expert on COVID-19, but there are people who are epidemiologists. And that's what they study. They're virologists. They study viruses for a living. He has not done that. So I think his ability to speak on certain things would be extremely limited. And I felt like there were people who were putting all of their faith in Dr. T when I thought, but that doesn't make any logical sense. Not to say he may or may not be a good physician. Otherwise, if you go to him for your gout or your bad knee, you know, he's going to actually refer you to other specialists. Doctors have to know their limitations. I was actually having this conversation with my friend in terms of dentists, because, you know, we have a lot of general dentists here in the Cayman Islands, and they can do a little bit of everything. So yes, a dentist can perform a root canal. They can do an extraction. They learn general dentistry. But can they perform a root canal like an endodontist who is a root canal specialist and that's all they do is root canals? No. Trust me, I've seen the difference between a regular dentist doing a root canal and an endodontist doing a root canal. It's night and day. Even the equipment that they have access to and that they use. So big shout out to the folks there at Cayman Dental. One thing I like about them is they bring in a lot of experts. And the pandemic has been really difficult for people who need experts to come in, because honestly, they were not coming in to be here for 3 or 4 days seeing patients and spend 2 weeks in isolation. It just doesn't make any sense. And I've had root canals done by a general dentist, and then I've had root canals done by endodontist. And trust me, there's a humongous difference. When I was having problems with my knee and my shoulder, I went and got a second opinion, and not just an orthopedic surgeon, who that's a specialty. But even within orthopedic surgery, you have people who will specialize in just the shoulder and just the knee. And you know, the advice that I got from them guided my therapy and what I was thinking I may or may not need to do. And again, the shoulder guy said, listen, this is very common what you have actually, and we call it frozen shoulder. And you can just give it time, and it will probably resolve itself. You know, do some therapy. But he even explained to me that right now, when you're having the pain, you've got to get the pain under control, because if you do therapy right now, you're going to create scar tissue, which creates another problem. Listen, as wonderful as the orthopedic surgeon was, he didn't really get into any of those details. I was like, really? Yeah. And the injection that you got in the shoulder is no longer an accepted mode of treatment. And I thought, it isn't? No. For this, we don't give steroid shots in the shoulder anymore. It's counterintuitive. Sometimes it'll cause more damage than the good that you're thinking that it's doing. And I thought, wow, yeah, we do plasma treatments. The elbow, we do this. I was like, the stuff that you learn, you know what? Because they do this day in and day out. And the beauty of working in another jurisdiction is they get to see so many patients as a specialist. Like in the US, I don't know how many root canals they probably do in a month, but it could be upwards of 100 plus. In Cayman, general dentist here, I don't know, 5-6 root canals a month. They haven't seen the volume of patients. And with that comes practice, experience, how to dig out the root. You know, there's a reason why specialists are there. Trust me. Same thing with building your house, folks. You don't get a plumber to do the painting for you, not unless you want a horrible job done. And that's how it works. Good morning, Miss Lily. Oh, this is about the drink spiking. Now, we talked about this last week. So you're saying that the HSA can't test for, what's the name of the roofie drug? Interesting. Damien says that elected politician can get a portfolio and have no experience or qualifications. Yes, that's the way y'all have the system working, Damien. Don't be looking at me sideways on that one. Not only can they not have any experience at all, some of them don't have experience doing anything in life except being failures. I'm happy to say that has been the case. But I'm going to say this is what's different about a politician. In some ways, a politician needs to be a generalist and not an expert, right? So the things that people expect them to do, hug babies and pat them on the back and that sort of thing, you know, you don't need to be an expert, really. I guess having charismatic personality certainly helps. But you don't need to be an expert on any of that. Now, if you get finance, it would certainly help if you understood the world of finance, if you understood the world of financial services, if you understood healthcare. This government, I think, has done a better job of trying to align people with the ministries that make sense for them, as well as realigning what departments fall within a particular ministry. Because remember, in the past, I've understood that one of the big complaints from the civil servants, and this is why it took the government a minute to put their ministries together, and everybody was like, well, what's taking them so long, is that they were realigning them after having spoken to the civil service. Because they said, listen, does it make sense to put education with this other department or ministry or whatever? And some of the challenges that the civil service was having, they were able to meet with the premier and said, you know what, these ministries make sense together, and here's why. And he was able to take that into consideration when he was looking at how to put them together, right? So Leslie, we didn't have an epidemiologist. I think we were recruiting one. I don't know if they've yet hit the ground, but we did not have one up until weeks ago. The previous government were in during most of the pandemic, and these are sorts of things that they did not put in place in terms of future planning for how we would handle the pandemic. So none of that was in place, honey child, because you would have thought from day one we would have recognized the necessity to either hire epidemiologists or virologists, some kind of expert level person. They didn't do it. So it was only after this current government got in that they're like, ooh, we need an epidemiologist, we need a number cruncher, and then they started the recruitment process. Miss Nald says, are you going to discuss the COVID-19? Yes. So let's talk about this. This is difficult for sure. we're kind of out of time. We can probably talk about it a bit more tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow we're going to have some super duper guests in the studio, so make sure that you tune in. But the gist of this is you're absolutely right that this will, I think, make it a little bit more challenging, but it is no different than if you're going into other jurisdictions such as the US. If you're traveling a much farther distance, because sometimes your travel takes you in excess of 24 hours, connecting flights and whatever. I think you're going to have to plan ahead now in terms of this and how this is going to be done. But let's look at some of the logistics of this tomorrow, as well as some of the other changes that are happening with the relocation of the testing facility. I think most airports now will have a quick results testing facility available to you. And to help facilitate it, they have opened it up where you can also do a certified rapid test. But I do have to ask how that works overseas. So we're trying to get the premier back on, by the way, folks, because he was not able to make last week's Premier Access Wednesday because he had still some LA. He was in the Parliament debates late into the night, so he was unable to make that. But we'll ask him a bit about that as well. So the UK has reported their first Omicron death, folks. That story will go up here in a little bit. So Damon says if they get reelected, give them that same portfolio. Well, if it's the same government, I would hope that would make sense, just for even the sake of continuity, to put people back where they were. But it's not often that we get the exact same government back in office. Even if the party gets back, there might be some members that would have been moved that are no longer available. Okay, folks, I've got to run to court. Mike Adams and his sons are in court today, having to deal with this situation with their neighbor again. So there should be a verdict today in terms of their sentencing. I will certainly report to you guys on how that goes immediately afterwards. We'll update you guys. And, I feel like everybody's ready except for probably the neighbors to put this behind them. It's just a sad situation. Really, really, really is a sad situation. But we'll give you the verdicts today. We'll discuss it on tomorrow's show, no doubt. And like I said, I've got a couple of Crime Stoppers are going to pop in tomorrow. The NRA is going to be here with the RCAPS as well. We want to talk about road safety. This is the time of year when it's really, really critical that we try to be so much more cautious. Sorry. On the roadways. So we'll have those guests in the studio. And then we'll have some open mic opportunity as well. Okay, good folks. That's all I've got for you. Marshall says neighbors from hell. That they have been. Trust me. I would not want them as neighbors. Folks, big shout out to Miss India. Congratulations also to Miss Cayman. This was her national costume, the banana orchid. She looked beautiful. It was designed again by Danielle Wantler. She did the costume last year. Lots of feathers and a true representation of one of the things that is uniquely Cayman. And here's Georgina Crawford. So Georgina looks beautiful here. And well done. Of course, we did not place in anything, but you know what? Sometimes it's experience that you're going for, right? So a big shout out to her. And of course, Miss India looked amazing. I was saying from early on that, I think she's going to get it. She was elegant. She was well-spoken. I think she actually is a professional actress, though. So I think maybe she had a little bit of a leg up in the pageant last night. But we enjoyed watching the pageant. You guys can go. It was on Fox Network. You can certainly go online. And her name is Harnaz Sandhu, I believe is how it's pronounced. So she is Miss Universe 2021. And she was crowned last night. Absolutely gorgeous. Let me show you guys a quick little photo of her. I think she is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. At the 70th Miss Universe, which took place in Israel. So 21 years old. She's a model and actress. And, you know, in India, they always set very high standards for themselves. And she is also a, I want to say she has an engineering degree. I'm trying to remember what her educational background is. But yes, she already has a degree and everything as well. So this is not the first time an Indian national has won the Miss Universe title. They had a Bollywood actress back in 1994 and Lara Dutta back in 2000. I feel like there was a time probably in the 2000s when Miss India was always in the top, at least the top 10. Like she always placed extremely high. And so, yeah, this was no surprise to me. But she was absolutely gorgeous. And of course, Miss South Africa was in the running. And I think a lot of us wanted to see Miss South Africa win. But I think in all fairness, Miss India pulled it out of the bag with her question. I could tell that Miss South Africa was very nervous. There was a couple times, even when she was in the top 3, her stance and her body language, like just the way her arms were, it was very unnatural, in fact, of how she was holding her arms. So in terms of overall poise and the question and everything, I thought Miss India was the rightful winner. But I do think Miss South Africa should have gotten first runner-up, and she got second runner-up. So that's the only my only comment about the pageant. I know everybody always has an opinion on these things, and your opinion might not be how the judges felt. But I must tell you that Miss India is absolutely beautiful. Here she is in her crowning moment. Her gown was gorgeous. I mean, she just looks like a beauty queen right there. So, and I'll show you guys what her national costume looked like as well. And listen, the beauty pageant world is big business. So Ms. Brenda, that is still ongoing in the court system. I meant to respond to you. Thank you for reminding me. That is still ongoing in the court system. I'll try to find out where it's at. I know she had made a court appearance. So yeah, Nona says based on the finalists, they were looking for height. Well, it always helps if you are tall as a beauty queen. Let's be honest, those long legs, you know, short people don't even tend to enter beauty pageants because it's just, you know, that's not what most people think as a beauty pageant material. So Ms. Brenda reminds us there was a year when Miss India won both Miss Universe as well as Miss World. Yes, I'm trying to remember where, I think that was kind of the period that I'm thinking about where Miss India was always placing extremely high. Well, I love Indian culture for the most part. I think, you know, their wardrobes are so beautiful. Their weddings are colorful. It's no white dress for them. It's all these beautiful colors and the henna tattoos. And, you know, I feel like you live in India in color. The rest of the world might be a little bit more black and white. But there's so much amazing color and food and everything that is part of their culture that I absolutely love. Ms. Brenda says there's actually a height requirement for those pageants. I would not doubt it. I think Cayman, again, is the only place where we kind of probably do things a little bit differently with height and curves and stuff like that. They don't necessarily want you to be curvy in a beauty pageant either. Like that's not a thing for them. Yeah. All right, good folks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's program. As usual, it was Monday Rewind. Miss Brenda says I'm biased to Miss India because part of my heritage. I think I'm a little bit biased too. Not necessarily that's part of my hair. Well, maybe not my daughter's, but you know, I think that I don't know. There's something I've always loved about that part of the world, and in certain respects. I mean, obviously they have some atrocious behavior when it comes to how they treat women and the classism and sexism, everything else that goes on there. But outside of that, I think that there's so many aspects of the culture that is really beautiful. So, sorry. Absolutely. Yes. So thank you guys so much. Before I continue to lose my voice, let me say big thank you. Tracy says she's surprised at pageants. I don't see them going away anytime soon. I'll be honest with you. I understand how people feel kind of about them in general, but I don't really see it going away anytime soon. Yeah. All right. You guys have a wonderful day. Big shout out to Miracle Brokers and the Filipino community. If you have your Filipino boxes ready, if you haven't purchased them as yet, the time is coming nigh. So make sure that you get your boxes together, folks. Get that shipment ready. $65. You can send it all the way from the Cayman Islands to the Philippines.
Ang Balikbayan Boxes ay bumalik na sa Miracle Brokers. Ipadala sa iyong mga mahal sa buhay ang espesyal na pakete para sa Pasko o bagong taon na puno ng mga damit, laruan at marami pa. Sa halagang $65, ito ay isang deal na hindi mo matatalo. Ito ang huling shipment para sa 2021 at ang deadline ay katapusan ng Disyembre kaya huwag mag-antala. Makipag-ugnayan sa pamamagitan ng WhatsApp 345-916-0355 upang bilhin ang iyong kahon at magreserba ng espasyo sa barko. Sa pagtatapos ng 2021, gustong pasalamatan ng Miracle Brokers ang lahat sa Filipino community para sa iyong suporta sa mga nakaraang taon. Lubos naming pinapaalagahan ang iyong negosyo. Inaasahan namin ang patuloy na paglilingkod sa iyong komunidad sa 2022 at higit pa.
Healthier spaces, healthier people. Electrostatic disinfection is a touchless cleaning technology. It provides a charge to a solution that electromagnetically sticks to a surface, providing 360-degree coverage. Rest assured, it is safe for electronics, food, and paper products. Reliable Industries, the clean you expect, the service you deserve.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.